Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, or good day wherever you are in the world, and welcome to the next episode of No Dice, No Glory. Sponsored by our jobs that actually pay us money, we're coming to you not at all live from an abandoned arms factory deep under a mountain in West Virginia. We are proud to proffer to you the finest in wargaming coverage. Without any further ado, let's get this show on the road.
Well, thank you, Sean, for that amazing introduction. So today's a special one. I am here with my tag team buddy, Thomas Chairborne Mullane. What's up there, Tommy?
How's it going? It's been a long time.
Man. So where are we today, Tom?
We are at Historicon in Historic Valley Forge.
Historic Valley Forge.
Well, not the historic part. We're in the casino.
Yeah.
So I guess kind of historic. I don't know when they built it, but...
Yeah, I guess it's historic. I mean, there's a lot of relics around here, if you know what I mean.
But we are at Historicon.
Historicon.
Which is the first time it's been held in a very long time.
So I haven't seen you in 2 years.
That's right.
So in case, like, there's a nuclear war one day and they find this tape, so we just came out of COVID, and the last few HMGS events have been canceled. But Tom and the No Dice crew... Let's go over. Today was an amazing day for No Dice. Let's see who we have. We have Tyler Stone.
We do.
We have Glenn Van Meter.
And Glenn is currently circulating around tables because we're wrapping up the Blood and Valor portion of the night.
We're going to get to that.
We'll get to that.
And then we have some of our people that have published an article or two. We got Glenn Goddard, Stephen Murga, and the usual. So what No Dice did was we ran a Iron Man, and I think a lot of our fans out there know what the Iron Man is. It's a combination of events. If you play in all three, in this case, and the three games were Blood and Plunder, Blood and Valor, which is going on now as we speak, and then Oak and Iron over really like almost a 28-hour period.
Yeah.
You get a special prize. So this morning we had 20 people for Blood and Plunder.
Which is the biggest one we've ever had?
Which is the biggest one we've ever had. And then we went into Oak and Iron in the afternoon, and we had 20 people. And what is something that you've seen that, you didn't realize you missed over the last 2 years?
I think the biggest thing for me, and we mentioned this, Glenn, Tyler, and I, when we were kind of talking before the thing happened, it's just these people, we don't get to see them very often. There's people from all over the country.
No.
We're excited to see them, not just the people that are playing in this tournament or that we're seeing, for dinner and stuff like that, but the people that are over there playing Flames of War, the people that are playing Bolt Action, all the vendors in the vendor hall. And you're like the mayor of town, obviously, because you get to go around and talk to everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody knows who you are.
Well, and you too.
I don't think I'm as famous as you.
I wouldn't say infamous, maybe.
Infamous.
Yeah.
I'm under the radar.
So it was great. So I got here Thursday morning. I couldn't sleep Wednesday night. I couldn't wait to get here. And I was Mike Tunis's and Firelock's biggest seller of the day. And I'm going to take that one because Mike doesn't listen to our podcast. Even when he's on it, he doesn't listen to it. And then ran some demos. And Rufus challenged me to, he's like, have Mitch run the Oak and Iron demo. He doesn't know how to play the game. And I'm like, listen here, mother. I play a bit of the news. And then this morning we rolled into the Blood and Plunder contest. And we didn't get to play, but what did you see from walking around and looking at these people?
Well, I think I see the same things that I always see when the game gets played, which is that people that just pick it up, love the game, they jump in. And because we had so many loaner armies ready to give out, people would be able to kind of drift by and see if something they wanted to do. And the game plays so quick that they're not going to be stuck here the whole day playing the tournament. They were done at, 2 o'clock?
2 o'clock, yeah.
I had my board set up to run demos for people as they were walking by.
And you and Tyler were running demos like nobody's business.
The whole time. And the cool thing, though, was that I had a bunch of kids that were under 10. There's a couple young kids that are here with parents.
You like them young, too, don't you?
So, oh, my God, you're terrible.
No,
yeah, I got to run games for some kids that had a blast.
Yeah.
So I was excited about that. I had a good day.
Yeah, it was like really kind of neat. So first place in that was Glenn Goddard. And then
General Glenn, former General Glenn.
Well, he's retired.
And
then second place was, I forgot his name, but he's from Atlanta.
New guy, right?
No, he said he's been playing for some time.
Okay.
But yeah, and then third place, as usual, was David Wolf.
Oh, yes,
Always gets third place.
the master.
Yeah.
No, he took first once, didn't he?
He says he doesn't have a gold. He said he has a lot of silvers.
He plays the natives, right? He has a really cool native force. Or no, am I thinking a different guy?
No, that's God, I wish I knew these people's names better.
My brain's fried after 2 years.
It's Jeff. Jeff.
Yes.
Something Trout. Well, Trout.
Yes.
Yes, he runs some interesting armies. So hey, one thing I did kind of notice is like the rust came off right away. That we didn't have too many questions. Folks really got into it. Since there's been no new lists, I didn't see too many new lists. But like, it seemed people got better playing the list they had.
There's a good amount of variety. I think a lot of people painted some stuff in quarantine. I saw some of that.
Yeah,
coming out. We had a good amount of terrain. Rufus went crazy in prep, so he made a bunch of terrain for
crazy.
Blood and Valor.
Not a far trip for him.
He's very crazy.
Yeah.
And he also has a bunch of terrain that he had set up for Blood and Plunder as well. So
yeah. So the loner armies is something that we did. I think it's because each of us have so many armies, and we had some people take us up on the offer. And I
quite a
think
few.
If you want to grow a game, I think that's the best way to do it. Loner armies available.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people come to these cons and they're here to sample, right?
Yeah.
They're here to sample the games. They're here to
Right.
walk around the vendor hall. And you want an opportunity to see everything. And if you get roped into something for too long, you feel like, you get the fear of missing out that goes on. So
FOMO.
So if you have the ability to walk by one of these things, see people playing and having fun, because it's a pretty good atmosphere every time you walk by our area. If you have an army ready to go, pick it up, see how easy it is. And because it's a skirmish game, not a lot of models.
Not a lot of models. You don't see that in too many other games. So you and I came from Flames of War Team Yankee, and I never seen people with loner. I mean, maybe if you wanted to get a guy that you would give him an army, but there wasn't like a TOs providing loner armies thing.
No, it wasn't a thing.
It wasn't a thing, and maybe it's cost, maybe because this is a skirmish low model game. I mean, it could be a million reasons. But I think folks out there that want to grow their games totally need to look into it, because let's move to Blood and Valor. 20 people playing Blood and Valor in the third round. I gave out 5 loner armies.
Yeah, because you're a machine. You have a ton of those painted.
How
many did we have signed up at the beginning of the day?
13.
13. And now we have 20.
Yeah, we have 20.
We barely needed ringers either, because me and Glenn and Tyler were ready to go.
Yeah.
To fill in, and so were you.
Yeah.
But we were not needed.
We were
there
not
were so
needed.
many people that wanted to play that.
Right. And we had just enough tables. Actually, we had one extra table for this. But I mean, it's so I gave out 5 loner armies. Rufus gave out 1, and then I forgot the other guy's name. He's the one that does Battle Scribe, the most excellent Battle Scribe, and he handed out 5 loner armies.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, you're looking at most of the people here, and we knew that we were going to have to put a lot of loner armies out. That most of the people here wanted loner armies, and we were able to get it to them. So I think that was cool. So one of the other things I noticed is, and I'm not saying anything bad about any other game, but looking at some of the other conclaves here of people playing other tournament games, we had a lot of young people.
Yeah.
A lot of first-time gamers.
Yep.
A lot of first-time con people. Oh, here's Mike Tunez.
What's up? Hey, everybody. How's it going?
Are you happy with how the day has gone today?
The day's gone great. Been enjoying it. It's been a lot of fun.
What was something that surprised you the most today?
That you're sitting here at this table recording while I was gone.
I think people have heard enough from you. I'm getting pointed out here. So, got to see what's going on. But, yeah, I think just give me a minute. Yeah, and it's, something bad happened. I don't know. I love Forrest, man. And Forrest, a friend of the show. But, Mike, you have to be happy of how this went. Some of these people are the same because of the Iron Man, but you had 40 people playing your games today, 6 rounds.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's been really awesome, actually. And thank you guys for doing a great job at running it and getting everything together. Such a cool crowd, too. Everybody's having fun. There's no fighting or arguing. Everybody just having a good time. That's what you want out of a tournament, right?
Actually, I think right now, like a race riot would be actually pretty cool to see.
I mean, yeah, that'd be entertaining for certain. Yeah, but this is cool too. This is this next best thing, more or less.
Yeah. So, and that's something that here we have a lot of young people, a lot of new faces, and I think that's how you grow. So one of the things, Mike, to ask you is, we pushed the loner armies from the TOs that were running it, and we have 11 loner armies out there, and I think we had 3 for Blood and Plunder.
Yes.
So, I mean, do you think that helped try to get us the numbers? I mean, it's an obvious question.
No, I don't think that had anything to do with it whatsoever.
Okay. Well, this reporter is wrong, but yeah, I mean, I think I got folks in the seats, and it was really interesting to see. So here we have also Kai Devane, if you want to help him out there too.
Hi.
And Kai, when he wasn't kind of being Mr. Gigglesworth, this is the first time you've seen a group of people playing a game that you supposedly tell people that you created. What did you think from watching?
I thought it was insane.
Insane.
How so many people can understand the words that I helped write because I can't understand it myself.
Yeah, well, that's true. It's he's not. There's that line for mental retardation. I think he's just above it. Tom, you're a teacher.
Yeah.
I want to clarify, just below the line.
Yeah.
Not on it, slightly below.
Yeah.
1 pixel down.
There's something about game developers torpedoing their own games that I just find this schadenfreude with. I think it's kind of awesome. So, but yes. Yeah, Kai. No. I mean, you have to admit, you didn't expect this many people.
Let me ask a question about outside of the demos that Tyler and I ran, or the kind of teaching people the game as they played the tournament. How many demos would you guys say you did at the booth today, either for Oak and Iron or for Blood and Valor?
We probably did around 12.
Probably more or less.
Yeah, about 12.
I know I did 6 Oak and Iron demos today.
And I did 3 Blood and Valor demos today.
Yeah, so 9. That's
about
you're
9.
Way off. But
No.
that's
Because remember,
oh no, that's right.
The big oaf did 4.
That's true. Yeah.
So let's do some math. 6 plus 3 plus 4 is
6 plus 3 is 9. Plus 4 is 13.
Okay. So I'm glad he could count.
Yeah, Rufus did one with me. I'd seen the game played. I'd seen a demo that you had ran, but that was 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Before the game was really out.
Before Nam.
And so I didn't have a chance to really play it. So I picked it up quick because it shares a lot of rules with Blood and Plunder, but it has a lot of different things that they tweaked to make it more appropriate to the period.
So this is a question, actually, for Mike more so than anything. So this is the first time people could come to a con and see Oak and Iron on the shelves, to see Blood and Blood and Valor on the shelves. Was stuff flying off the shelves today?
Yeah, we've actually, and oddly, Blood and Plunder more than anything, really. But we've seen Blood and Plunder picking up a lot of steam in the last 12, 13 months. Well, really before that, but yeah, just for some reason it's got a big ramp up. I guess the fact that we didn't go out of business during the pandemic, people were like, "Oh, these guys might be sticking around. Maybe we can invest in it." I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But Oak and Iron did pretty well too. That's definitely we've had to restock the shelves several times, so it's doing really well as well. Yeah.
Is Oak and Iron something you make here in the States, or is that a
that's
shipped in?
so yeah. So that's a question I got a lot today. Is if we're gonna do more with Oak and Iron, we actually have a whole expansion done, another wave of releases with a campaign system and everything else, but it's made in China, and right now it's just impossible to get it. It'll take us forever. So we're looking at new options on how to make it, and hopefully get it. So we've got a lot of stuff ready to go. It's just a matter of how we're going to manufacture it, and we're trying to keep the price point low and keep it accessible. So it's if you buy Oak and Iron, you can open up a box and just play. It's all you don't even need glue. You want to glue those sloop sails together so they look nicer, but they're not totally necessary. You know what I mean? You can play with it as it is.
You don't need to paint it either because it's.
So we're trying to keep that aesthetic going. So.
I will also say, and this is kind of cool.
The glue can still be used for sniffing.
I mean, yeah, it's an aesthetic choice.
It is.
They at the booth they had a ton of already pre-painted, beautifully done stuff. I think Kai, you did a few of them. You have an army ready to go for that. What did you have painted at the booth ready for people to pick up today?
For Blood and Valor, we had Russians, which just came out. We had Germans. We had Americans. We had French. We had, I think that's it.
What are you talking about?
The one, the pre-painted
I was,
ones.
like, really
all
confused, like,
that.
I don't think we had all
Okay,
that.
so all that was a lie. We only had the native force painted, that I painted, and we had the Oak and Iron box set fully
we had the
painted.
core set for Oak and Iron and a couple of.
And we have
I think we had 3 Men of War boxes.
Three Men of War
that roof
boxes.
is painted up.
So yeah,
They look all right.
Hey,
Passable.
acceptable.
Yeah, acceptable. With
You
the
know,
roof,
not as good as those natives.
No,
Whoever
definitely
painted
not.
that knocked
those
it out
are
of the
amazing.
park.
Yeah, for sure.
And tomorrow the tournament is at 10.
That's right. 10 a.m.
And your theory
This
is
is live,
that,
right? So we should tell people, hey, come on down.
Come on down,
That's right,
guys.
yeah.
So it's,
Price is right.
yeah, that's right. Come on down.
This doohickey here, that broadcast live to the internet,
If it did, and I got to not edit these things, that would actually be pretty great.
that might be a problem, actually.
But your theory is that some
we have
people
Mitch
might
on
come
here.
over and grab a box or just buy one quick and just jump
We
in.
know there's going to be at least a few people that we've talked to that have demoed the game and said, we told them there's a tournament tomorrow, just starter set's all you need to play. So a few people have bought the starter set and should show up tomorrow. So we'll see how it goes.
So I should expect to see a bunch of people feverishly popping sails into pegs
That's correct, yes.
to get ready for tomorrow.
Feverishly, absolutely.
Any strategic advice for the new players that they won't be able to see because this is not live?
Don't get raked.
Don't get raked.
Do not sail into the wind. I tried. It doesn't work.
It's all good advice.
Yeah, Kai might be the worst sailor ever. It was
I don't
pretty
know.
impressive to watch him play.
If there's one thing I know from playing all these games is that I am one of the worst people to play them. I'm really good at losing. So when
that's
people are getting demos of them, they get a boost of confidence.
Yeah,
I think
that's
you
good.
said
You're like
earlier.
a perfect demo agent,
Yeah, you're like, man, if you want to boost the confidence, just play Tom.
Actually, Mike, I think the worst sailor is the captain of the Costa Concordia, because at least I've never run aground.
Because we play without terrain every time we play.
Not true. I sailed around an island, and I never hit it.
That's
He
true,
did.
You did. That's a good point, yeah.
That's score 1 for me, 0 for Costa Concordia.
So I'm going to have to start figuring out who won, and then I'm going to play a little Gunfighter's Ball. So do you want to wrap up for now, or
Sure,
you want
yeah.
to keep talking to these bozos?
I'm sure they just get crazier.
Yeah. So there's one thing I do want to say. Mike said in the last 13 months, and I checked my facts, that is also in the Talesman formed. And so I would say that your success is just due to the Tales of the Sail guy, and that is Tails.
That's right.
And that's why we call them the Talesmen, not because they get a lot of tail, because they have a lot of tail. And hey, we'll pick this up after Oak and Iron, and maybe a little later tonight.
Sounds good to me.
All right, say goodbye, boys.
Goodbye, boys.
Goodbye, boys.
Well, if you listen to the first 15 minutes of this podcast, you knew we were at Historicon, and we just couldn't get to recording again because we were exhausted. So I'm here with the Talesmen, my boys, Glenn.
What's up?
Tommy Mullane,
How you doing?
and Tyler Burn It All Down Stone.
Hey everyone.
Yeah, and we're back.
Woo!
How you guys feeling? I was tired driving home.
Feeling like a success.
Yeah. I definitely want to talk about that, but like,
How long
you know,
did everyone's convention hangover last?
um,
I
Yeah,
woke
I was
up today and was still kind of groggy.
yeah, I actually go into work today and then Monday. You know, it's all good, but let's talk about the good. So
I'm gonna be that guy. Convention was nice for me because there were no kids and I got to sleep like an entire night without interruption.
Good for you.
What
Choice.
what
Good for
happens if
you.
your
Play
family
against the
listens to
micro mic?
this and they end up hating you? You know,
They're not, Mitch. They're not listening.
like his
She
wife
knows.
will.
She already
If
knows.
there's divorce proceedings, these tapes will come out, and it's not going to be good for you. And I care about you.
If they get divorced, there'll be nobody to feed the chickens or the goats or turn off the water when the water's left on. There's a variety of things that Glenn does.
I'll have so much time if there's a divorce.
You will. Those goats aren't going to feed themselves
this time.
Yeah, she's not. Corinne is not listening to this episode.
Wow. Yeah, it is. Well, let's not talk about it. So anyway, I think we spoke. It was right after Blood and Valor, and we did Blood and Plunder. We had 20 people. Blood and Valor 22, and then the next morning we got up and we did a little Oak and Iron action, and we had 14 for that, which is not bad. Not bad at all. I had a good time. What about you guys?
I had a really good
great time.
You had to think about that too. I noticed that's.
No, I was
sure
waiting
about
for
that?
one of them to talk first because I don't know. I'm used to having like the show notes here. I'm used to organization.
Yeah,
but,
we're flying. We're having sex without a condom today, my friend.
We don't. That's. And comments like that are how you know we didn't have any notes leading into this.
We're raw dogging it, which is not bad. It's not bad. So, I'll tell you what, man. And we talked about this in the first segment. I so miss cons. I miss you guys. We were hanging out at that barbecue place, and I didn't want to leave because that means the con was over. But it was so good seeing some of those folks again. It was great seeing Dave Wolf, and that guy's never going to get a gold medal. And it's not because he doesn't play hard or play well. It's because I got to tell you, it's what it would be like a cosmic rift if that guy got a gold medal. So we have to do.
Yeah, it's like when the Mets win. Yeah, we got to make him a special medal.
Yeah,
it's always a new player to come and steal it from him too, because it was me and then Glenn Goddard, and then it's always someone new. It's their first tournament or something like that. They come.
But he always takes it in stride. He's always a good sport about it, and
he does.
He's got quite a collection of medal at home at this point. He's placed every time.
He's like the Flavor Flav of the Caribbean.
He needs to bring in all of his medals next time we have a con, because I want him to just intimidate other players with the amount of medals that he has.
Until they notice that none of them are gold.
I still think the highlight for me that night was Steve Murga, who's very competitive, and I love Steve, and he hops around on 1 foot. That's how competitive he is. And he was like, so what did I finish? And I hate when people look over my shoulder and I'm tabulating. And he's like, yeah, well, it depends on how this last game finishes, Steve. You could be first, you could be third, But I said, you got a problem here because as a no dice, no glory employee, you cannot win any of the prizes. He goes, what? And I go, unless you renounce. And he's like, I renounce. And I'm like,
yeah, instantly.
Yeah, I'm kidding. And yeah. So
Steve Murga's renounced us.
He's renounced us. Yeah. So he probably won't even listen to this.
Yeah, that's fine.
But it was just watching him filling out those move sheets. So here we are. Yeah, go ahead.
He posted a work in progress picture of the 6th raid he purchased.
On
Facebook today, and it was looking primo.
Yeah,
he's a good painter, but we're not mentioning his name anymore.
That's fine. We renounce you. He who shall not be named.
Yeah, we're announcing you too, Steve, and it's fine. It's all in love, man. I'm sure we'll see him in the next few weeks. So, looking at the group we had, did you guys notice how young it was?
Yeah.
Yes. On the first day, I will say that, so the way we had this set up for people that weren't at the con, we lucked out on location because our location, which I think we alluded to in the first part of this, was right across from the vendor area. There's a lot of foot traffic going past us right near registration, and it's an eye-catching game. And so I set up my standard demo setup with the island and the ships and stuff like that. I had my flute with the rubber duck on it, and I did demos. I did like 5 demos, and Tyler did a bunch of demos on it too.
Yes.
And Tyler, like, what was the average age of the person you were demoing for? Because I think I demoed to 2 kids under 12.
That's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say. Like the average age of people I demoed for is probably like 14. Because I
And
demoed to kids that couldn't roll dice onto the table. But they were awesome. They were there with their dad. Their dad was demoing and he was having them roll his dice for them. You know,
and
like
I got
the
to tell
ladies at
you,
the
I was a
casino.
little nervous when that was going down because I didn't know the conditions of your parole. So
Thank you, Mitch.
yeah, just kidding. No, let me just say, and just to hand out some kudos, Tyler and Tom, you because Glenn, I didn't see you demo, but you guys really know how to get the demo done. Like I could tell that you're excited about the game when you're demoing it, and you're full of questions. And I just think that was such a great job that you
Well, thank you.
guys did, and that's how you grow the game. So speaking of growing the game, we gave out 20 loner armies between the 3 games. How do you
Mhm.
guys think that got us the numbers that we had?
I
I think
think like
combined with the Iron Man, it was huge because it's like, hey, you were already here for Blood and Plunder. You may as well show up tomorrow and play, or show up later and play Blood and Valor. Show up tomorrow and play Oak and Iron. And they're like, well, I don't have an army. No, we've got you.
Yeah, we got you.
You have no excuse for not coming and playing.
I think something
Yeah.
I
else
think
that happens for me is like I'll walk by some of these games, like particularly the ones in the rooms on the other side of the hotel, and I'll be like, oh, this is kind of interesting, and I'll hang out and watch for a little bit. But it's one thing to walk by a set of games being played and say, oh, that looks interesting, and it's another entirely to walk by when you see a demo of the game set up and somebody's like, hey, do you want to learn how to play this? Because 9 times out of 10, people are going to say, oh yeah, absolutely, because people are here because they like these kinds of games, and giving them a chance to try it is a great way to go. So this way they feel like they're involved even if they didn't sign up for the tournament. The loner armies works great, particularly for this game because the armies are so small. How many did we give out again, Mitch?
20 between all 3 games.
So, I mean, average about a third of because we had about 20 players in each tournament.
Yeah,
So
so
about a third of the armies that were on the table were,
a lot of them were in Blood and Valor.
yeah, they were. You supplied a ton for that.
Yeah, me and that other guy. He's actually supplied more than I did.
really.
Yeah, there was about 5. Yeah, there was 5 for Blood and for Oak and Iron, and for Blood and Plunder it was 4.
Okay.
Counting with
By the way,
guy running off.
the other guy, quick shout out was I believe John Watson.
It was John Watson.
Nice.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, I mean that I tell you what, man, that was pretty awesome, and I think it really made the event as successful as it was. I mean, look, we play it because we love the game. It's a great game, but yada yada yada. Not everybody thinks that, but we were able to pull people in. I mean, the biggest surprise was Chris Wolf, another no dice, no glory, way begotten son. He has an excuse though. He is going to medical school, but it's not that good of an excuse, and I told him that. But he and his brother took each an army of Australian Light Horse, and what did Chris take? I don't remember, but it was just awesome to see. First of all, the damn armies I painted on the table, and the only 2 armies I didn't bring were my German African army and a lot of forces for my British Africa army, which I couldn't have run anyway because I share models with the Anzacs. So I thought it was amazing. I don't see that in other games. Like I've lent people forces to go to a tournament, but I'm bringing them there. But even as a TO, I never said, "Yeah, we'll have forces for you." And I think it's because of the low model count of these games, because it's
Yeah.
really not that hard to bring it. But I think it made all the difference in the world, and I think it pulled in all these people that wanted to give it a shot.
I will also say this, like to the game designers that listen to this, I guess, would be if you think that it doesn't encourage people to buy things, like it definitely does, because
Oh, it does.
the
Every
Firelock
demo that we
guys,
ran.
yeah, they walked right over to that booth, and people were. I think on Saturday, people walked away with so much oak and iron stuff that they had to go like to the truck and like restock because their shelves were getting bare. So
Yeah.
that's usually a pretty good sign.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like go ahead.
I didn't go shopping at the Firelock booth until Saturday, right before I left, and I had a hard time finding a lot of stuff because it was gone.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was pretty neat. We had from Lead Pursuit podcast, we had Steve Toth come and he walked away. Everybody I demoed the Oak and Iron to bought a box. So I was like Big Willie Shine, Pimp of the Century, doing that. But it's easy to kind of sell the game. You also have to realize this is the first time people have seen that stuff on shelves. Because even
Yeah.
at my local game store, which I haven't gone to the one that carries Oak and Iron, none of that stuff's been on shelf. So it was
Yeah,
kind of neat to like go and there and see it. And between that and Blood and Valor, it was really kind of neat to see it. So speaking of shopping, I didn't do that much shopping. What did you guys go home with?
well,
I'll let Glenn tell his story first, I guess, because
oh man,
his is partially my fault. I would say, like I did this to
well,
him.
so one of my loves and flames is early war, and I've had this project of like some senior Soviet stuff on the back burner, and I was where we were was right in front of the vendor hall and right next to Wally's, and I was so busy between the tournaments and everything else, I didn't even go to the other end of the convention to like the other gaming rooms and stuff. But I went through Wally's a couple times and picked up some great deals on some older Flames early war stuff because God knows if that's ever coming back around. And then Tom was like, "Man, I need some stuff for my history teacher classroom gaming club. I don't have medieval stuff." I was like, "What if we get Saga?" And I was just like, "Well, I'm in, sure," because it
Yeah.
seems like one of those games that everybody at least has one army for.
Which game is Saga?
Yeah,
Saga.
yeah.
Yeah, everybody has. It's like a cult.
Because I was looking for something. I was looking for something that I can play with. Like, so I teach two courses. I teach Military History 1 and Military History 2, and they're always taught in alternating years. In Military 2, I got that covered. I have a million things now. I have Blood and Valor now. I have Flames of War. I even play Battle Group with them sometimes if I have more advanced kids. But for Military 1, like I'm planning. I have a student teacher this year, so I'm going to design an entire unit centered around Blood and Plunder stuff, and make them play Blood and Plunder. But I wanted something medieval, like Roman era or like early Middle Ages, and so the models look really cool. The game looks easy enough that I can teach kids to play in about a half hour, and that's the key. I need games that are interesting to bring people back, but simple enough that I can teach them quick. And the low model counts is definitely a key part of that. So Saga fits the bill, just like Blood and Plunder does.
Let's say it has a lot in common with Blood and Plunder. I feel like it's a low model count buy-in. You can learn it really fast, and then just by nature of like a scuzzy looking Viking with a longbow is
Scuzzy.
yeah,
That's
however you want to call it. Like
very anti-Viking, and we don't practice hate on this show. But okay.
Okay.
That's how you talesmen roll. But all right.
I'm still real sore about all of those, cathedrals they sacked and whatnot. But anyway, yeah, I mean, you can cross a lot of the models over. There are also rules floating around, fan-made rules for converting it over to Lord of the Rings. I'm translating a bunch of the same guy that did the Lord of the Rings rules did Samurai. And of course he published them all in German, so that's been fun. But
Yeah. Also, what else did I get? I got a couple of gently used board games at Wally's because I need them for the gaming club. I'm getting like 75 kids a week, and we don't have
What
enough
games
games
did you
for 'em.
pick up?
I grabbed a copy of Small World. I grabbed a couple of used Axis and Allies. I'm looking for stuff that's relatively simple.
Maybe
so-
I can donate. I could donate some games to you. I have some I need to get rid of.
yeah, if you have stuff you want to dump, I will take it.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Oh,
putting out an email to a bunch of the teachers.
when
I
you ask, I'll take a dump. Yeah,
Yeah, please take a dump. Take a dump for me.
I'll totally give you a dump. Yeah,
Is Access and Allies considered simple now?
I don't know.
For me, it is, and
Played
I'd
it
say
once.
Less than weekend.
Played it once. I
play
thought
it
it
once.
was rather stupid, but it's okay. It's all good.
It looks cool.
Tyler, what'd you get?
I picked up some bases off that crazy deal that Phalanx was doing, where it was like just grab as many as you can fit in a bag. But also, a lot of what I grabbed were business cards and online stuff because I was actually kind of tight for money going to the con, which is never fun.
Yeah.
But I did grab some of the hot and dangerous stuff from Wargamer, and I think I'm gonna try and have Jen paint one of these up with me. She seems excited to do it. I brought them home, and she's like, "I kind of want to collect all of these and put them on my desk." And I'm like, "Okay, that's a lot of minis."
Yeah.
But
I'm glad
like
you
the
didn't,
pin-up historicals.
I'm glad you didn't resort to stealing. So
No,
I appreciate that.
yeah,
I didn't get much, man. I got some rubber, some latex rivers, which I noticed that you can smack somebody in the ass with them, and it leaves a nice welt. If you want, I can turn the camera on and turn around. I'll show you guys. No,
No, please don't.
no, you sure? You sure?
We're good.
We're good.
I got the traditional one board game per con, but one of the things I did want to talk about was going over and talking to the guys at Mythicos. Like, never met those guys. I heard about Nelson. I'll tell you what, man, that guy really impressed the hell out of me. I don't do fantasy. I don't do sci-fi. It's just not my jam. But if the game is really good, now I've seen a copy of the Mythicos rules. Look, I play bolt action. I understand how it works. I never really bit off on it, but like from talking to Nelson and his approach to gaming and what he's trying to do, I just became like, this is very interesting. And he hooked me up and he gave me a starter kit, which I actually will paint and play with because Brian Sherry picked up a bunch and he lives near here. And I was just impressed with those guys. The other thing, too, is, when we got the Mythicos book from Warlord well over a year ago, I didn't really read the lore that's in there. But from reading it, these guys really did some research, and it's very, I think culturally accurate. So I'm gonna have to quit on a game to pick that one up. But it's like one of those games like Gunfighter's Ball, which I love, and because it's a low model count game, I could just pick up it. It's easy to play. It's a lot of fun. It's not like it's gonna take up a lot of time like some of the other games. So I was most impressed with that. I'll tell you what I wasn't impressed with was the Wally's Basement.
It was a downer. I was expecting more stuff there. I don't know.
It gave me dysthymia.
Yeah,
It's
like
very
yeah, it was depressing. I mean, it always kind of has that air to it, but it was a little bit more this year. Like there's
Yeah.
less. It was slim pickings, I thought, and I went a
Yeah.
couple times. I went a couple different times because you have to get tables for different times of the day. I felt bad for the people that signed up to be there like all the available times because I don't know. Like I did that twice, one con, to try to sell some like Lord of the Rings stuff that my friend wanted me to sell and some terrain. And since everybody's looking for a deal, like you're never really going to make out. It's mostly just you're giving your stuff away and hoping you get a little bit for it. But like it's just kind of it's kind of a bummer at times. Like I hope some people do well, but yeah, it's not something I think I'm going to do again. Like there are better venues for me to try to sell minis or trade them with somebody else than that, I think.
Yeah, I really thought with all the gamers dying during COVID, there would have been better sales. But I was wrong.
Well, you gotta
Dark.
get the estate people to know that this is where they need to come.
Yeah.
Because I actually have gotten some amazing deals on an estate selling off stuff at Wally's before.
Yeah, your death brought me some happiness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I did find a few gems, like I said earlier.
Well, I
Um,
left all my board games to Sebastian Bay, and all my miniatures will be going. I want the Talesman to auction them off via their podcast. Yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah, there'll be a lot of rules involved, and make people do stuff maybe they're not emotionally comfortable with, and definitely not physically comfortable. But yeah, I
Promise
think
you,
we're
we
gonna
will
go
honor
there.
your legacy.
I
Yeah,
appreciate that. Yeah, yeah, but
We will be the
yeah,
agents of chaos you've trained us to be.
yeah. Well, no, I mean it's Glenn started rubbing off on me, towards the middle of the con. But so, what armies really kind of surprised you there? From what was like the big list you think in each of the events?
We start with Blood and Plunder. I would
You're
say
gonna
so.
start.
So one of the things that I will say is, like, because the four of us tag teamed it. Mitch did the pairings and stuff like that, but Glenn, Tyler, and I were available to act as ringers, to circulate doing demos, to answer questions for people. So I thought it ran real smooth because we were able to just like tag off. So if Glenn's like, "Oh, I want to go check something out," I'd be like, "Okay, I got it covered," or vice versa, or we could just go do our thing. So I didn't see a lot of the specific armies that people brought for Blood and Plunder. So like I think Glenn and Tyler got a closer look at them. Tyler, what'd you see in terms of the biggest ones that stood out?
I really didn't see anything. I played that first round, and then I jumped over to the demo table. I think they swapped out ringers or something. Like you switched in and started
Yeah.
ringing, and from that point on, I was like locked on that demo table. I know that the funny thing is, was it the third place player who had the loner army from me? He had my French. Um,
Yeah,
so I mean,
that
painted
was
models fight better.
yeah. The that was a guy from Atlanta, I
Oh,
think,
okay.
right? Yeah.
I saw
Well,
a bunch of
Tyler,
French guys. I think the French did pretty well.
Mike actually made a comment, Tyler. There weren't any unpainted models at the tournament.
No, we were able to
Right.
hook everybody up.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
And then I think even during the Blood and Valor tournament,
There was a
I
few.
spotted some minis that weren't fully done because I'm behind on my New Year's resolution, but also like Josh, we had painted minis that he could have run, and he ran across the little aisle that we had and picked up a French starter and then used my emergency glue that I keep with me whenever I travel, like for cons and stuff if anything breaks. He's like, "Do you have glue? Do you have glue?" And he glued together his French like 20 minutes before the game
Wow.
started.
That's
Ben
commitment.
Ben
But you
bought an
can't do
Imperial Army.
plastics.
Yeah, you can't. Ben bought an Imperial Army Friday night, and it's definitely super glued up the hotel room.
Did he get high?
I think they all did.
from the super glue, yeah.
Yeah. So he got a Russian army. I think the Russians are going to be pretty good in the next book. There's only 6 different iterations of them. So a lot of speaking of Blood and Valor, a lot of Turks out there. People seem to really like the Ottomans.
Yeah, I saw that a lot.
Saw some cavalry.
And
Yeah.
I thought Ottomans took 2 of the 3 top spots, right?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, they did.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's. I don't know if that's because of list or simply because a lot of people were like pushing to make the 150. So I don't know if that's just because like I know one guy had extra people to throw into the list, but
These early tournaments always seem to go really weird because I remember Mike saying about like the early Blood and Plunder tournaments, somebody did really well with Captain Morgan and a whole bunch of English militia. And when you look at the one Blood and Valor list, it was like Ataturk and a whole bunch of inexperienced Turkish riflemen.
Yeah.
It's like
Was
that seems like something you might be able to get away with once, you know?
It's a firepower game, and if you draw some of the missions, I think they're a good list. I mean, other than the special rule, which may or may not apply to every situation, there's not a big variation between the lists. It's just how you make them.
Yeah.
Miguel ran some Cav that, based on some of the terrain, just didn't work out for him.
Oh, but
Um,
when it worked because I was
Yeah,
there
when
to.
they hit, it was
yeah,
devastating.
I watched them just flatten a unit.
I think I saw that too.
yeah. I mean, but I mean, I think folks had fun. Now, how do we keep this going?
I think we
I
got to
think
just
a
do.
lot of these people are going to end up coming back.
I
'Cause
think
that's the
loner
other
armies
nice
are the way to go. Make sure we get solid prize support. I'd say, like this con was weird, because of it's hard to gauge attendance. I think you mentioned this in an email you sent me, Mitch, because like basically there's the tournament and vendor hall, and then on the like scattered throughout the entire other hotel near the tower are all of the participation games. And I went with my friend Shane, and we walked around to see some of those, and there are fewer than there normally are. Some of the big clubs didn't come in as large a force as they normally do, but I did see
They
more
had
kids there.
150 games canceled. You know that.
Yeah,
That week.
yeah, yeah. And there's one guy I talked to who did this beautiful board that simulated like the first Ethiopian invasion, like the late 1800s, with like thousands of minis on it. And he's basically saying, yeah, like I don't have enough people to run this because I planned to do this with 12 people, but I'm barely getting 4, and I don't have enough people to push the models around. And he's like, yeah, the game's like late tonight, and this is like Saturday, and I and I knew I was getting tired and I couldn't stay, but I wanted to stay and do it. So I felt bad that so many games got canceled, but I think there's going to be some growing pains coming out of the lockdowns for the first time. So I expect that the next one is going to be bigger if things continue to loosen up. I hope we're there because I had fun seeing people. I will say, just to circle back to something that Mitch was talking about earlier, I think one of the highlights for me, other than seeing you guys and having a contest with Mitch to see who would start snoring first, was the Mythicos guys, because I've been trying to get them to buy into Blood and Plunder for a while because I wanted to do demos for them and help their store build a community there, because Tyler and Glenn have the advantage of having a few people around them that play the game, but I only have a handful of friends and no stores locally. So Mythicos would be the store. And they seemed interested, but they were hesitant to pull the trigger. And then when they finally got to do the demo and they got to talk to Mike, I think Kai was telling me that um, one of the guys walked over, bought $300 worth of stuff, then came back later in the day and bought another $600 worth of stuff.
Yeah, Nelson said he bought $1,100 worth of stuff.
Yep. And then the store itself bought a ton of stuff at like a distributor level cost. And
That
so
was
this
going to be
guy,
my question: is if he was buying for the shop or for himself? But
no, both,
1,100 for himself.
both for himself, both. So like I told him I'm happy to come down and do demos for them. I've worked for Mythicos a couple times. I ran a basing tutorial with them. Like it was right before COVID hit. I was going to teach a whole class to people, and I only had 3 people show up, but originally 12 were signed up. And from what he told me, Nelson's building a whole studio that's just painting classes, which
Yeah.
is cool. Like I love their whole business model. I like everybody who I've ever interacted with there. I really can't say enough nice things about it as a store. So if you're in the North Jersey area, if you're in the New York area, major metropolitan area, Mythicos is in Mahwah, and it's also in Randolph, New Jersey. So for me here in Danbury, it's only about an hour and a half. And for most of the people, it would be under an hour if you're in the Hudson Valley. So please check them out. They host a lot of events, and they're very active on social media.
Yeah, next Monday, Sebastian and I are going to talk to them about doing tactics talks and get folks from all over the DoD who are gamers to talk about tactics. I think they're going to be very upset where they'll tell them like, yeah, it's game tactics are totally different than real world tactics, but just to talk about that, I think it's pretty cool because you don't know where the next great war game developer is going to come from, and I really kind of hope it's through some of these programs. Like somebody may say, oh, this is something I want to get into more. Go to school. You can actually get a degree in wargaming some places. I mean, there's no bad comes out of it as long as nobody loses an eye. I think. I'm not 100% sure, but I had a great time, man. I go ahead.
I was to say that was actually one of the highlights of the weekend for me, was getting to sit down and play the DoD games, or at least watch them. And like, I got to play sitting next to Mike on the side that I never thought we would be allied with, because we were playing as the Chinese.
So
that was awesome. Yeah, that was awesome.
What do you guys think of OWS and FMF?
FMF I was trying to follow because I wasn't there from the time that they set it up, but I really liked the cards, and reading through those cards, it kind of hits everything that can possibly go wrong in a theater or work in your advantage, I suppose. Too.
Right.
What a clever game design! Like, Sebastian, like for the people that can't visualize what I'm visualizing right now, basically it's a map of different like key strategic positions, and the forces are represented by a series of tiles that are basically concealed until they reveal themselves by firing, and when they get close enough to each other, they start to be
It's like
Stratego. It's like Stratego, except there's a deck of cards, and those cards simulate all the things that a commander on the ground really wouldn't have a lot of control over. And in the case of the game that I think Mike Tunez and company played, they wound up sending out a jamming signal that helped the Chinese Navy like escape through the Straits of Formosa near like Luzon or whatever. And they managed to break into open water and defeat the American Marines. But it was a cool game, and it turned on a dime, and it was cool talking to Sebastian about how he designed the game, all the different ways that it kind of played out. It takes a special kind of head to think through that. And I know Mitch has tons of experience doing this because it's literally his job. But it's cool because I think, is Sebastian one of the people that you mentored, or no, you mentored somebody who was taught by Sebastian?
No. Sebastian, I met through. I spoke at Georgetown, and we became friendly, and we game a lot together. I'd say he mentors people. I mentor some of his students. We both work on Zenova together, but like, he in his own right, at his age, is like a wonder kid when it comes to gaming. He really gets it, and he's able to put all that stuff together. And I was reviewing I helped them play test that game and try to get some of the cards right. And then there's a version that it's blue against Russia, and it's a really good game system. The other game we played was OWS, which the Marine Corps developed. Which I never asked permission to take that from the Marine Corps, but it's the Air Force's copy. I guess they'll be okay with it. But
don't worry, they probably don't listen to this podcast either.
They may.
So
just watching
Tyler's
how
FBI
gamers
handler.
pick that up. Yeah, Tyler's FBI. Just watching how they picked up that game, and I'll tell you what, man, you don't want Mike to be in control of a lot of intermediate range missiles, because he's all about making it rain.
We rolled in. It was like I had one of the J-20s up against like an F-35 or something like that, and Mitch is like, "Do you want to shoot?" And I'm sitting here trying to think, like, I don't want to escalate this. It was like the first or second turn of the game, and I'm like, I don't really want to escalate this. I don't want to shoot if the Americans aren't going to shoot. And then it gets to Mike to run rockets, and he's like, okay, just real quick, how many of these bases can I hit with long-range missiles? And I was like, all right, well, Guam is sending all of the heavy bombers we've ever built in this country.
Yeah, Mike Tunez has a real casual disregard for fake life.
Yeah, I was playing Chinese air, and I'm like, my job just got impossible. Thank you, Mike.
And I thought I mentioned to him too, like, look, if you escalate, there were no U.S. bombers the first turn, and he's like, why are these guys coming after me?
I think his response to that was like, I'm an escalator.
Yeah.
I am an escalator. Yeah. It's the out of context quote of the day.
I am a camera. But yeah, I was so glad you guys got to play those games, and we could play it with TTS sometime in Vassal. So maybe the
I'd like to.
Not over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you'd have a good time.
I'd try that. Yeah.
Yeah, I got pulled aside doing something else before you guys started them on both occasions. So I was like looking over, like, man, that looks like something I'd really like to try.
They're a lot of fun.
But talking to Sebastian, I definitely got that he's very excited about this stuff from the conversation. I want to start trying to attend his online seminars.
Yeah.
The
Well, you can.
Georgetown stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can watch them all. They're all out online, and they're pretty good. I've actually some Saturdays I'll go game with his students. I ran a battleship game for them, and boy, they live in fear of him. But what he's trying to do is trying to mentor young, you know, people into wargaming because we need those diverse voices. Look, I'm not going to figure anything out new ever for the rest of my life. But some of these young people will. They see it differently, and just getting them out there, I think is an amazing thing. But I will make sure, Glenn, you next time he's doing FMF online because he does demos all the time. But it looks like he talked to Mike. It would be great to see that as a fire. Wouldn't it?
Yeah, that was really neat.
Yeah, yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. But yeah, it was such a good time. I can't wait for the next one, which I think for me will be Adepticon.
I really hope that
And
we get to hit that.
yeah, yeah, and Adepticon is like, I guess it's a bucket list thing like Gen Con was for me for so long, or Origins, just to go and Adepticon really kind of came out of nowhere. I think it was a very small show 5 or 6 years ago, and I had my tickets. I think you did too, Tim, to go during COVID, and in 2020, and it sucked. We didn't get to go, but hopefully we'll get to go this year and support. Matter of fact, I met the guy that's running historicals. He threw on my shirt. He goes, "Oh my God, you're No Dice, No Glory," and I'm like, "Well, my mother didn't name me there, but what a nice guy." And he's like, "Yeah, I want to give you my sales pitch on coming," and I'm like, "No, we'll be there." Really? I don't have to give
we're
my
already
sales
going.
pitch? Yeah, and I'm like, yeah. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for this was, when I guess the next one is Cold Wars. I mean, yeah, Cold Wars, and then for Historicon next year. But I think based on the crowd we got, and I think we can grow it even more. I think we're looking at maybe a next big push being Historicon, doing another Ironman. I think doing an Ironman at every single, I think it's going to get old. But there were certain things like, and let's throw this out there to the listeners. Do you remember we ran a tournament and people signed up by store? And if their team won, they got terrain to take home for the store
Ooh, that's a
or the
cool
club.
idea. I like that a
Yeah.
lot.
Do
I
you guys
think I
remember when
remember.
we did that?
I think it was store or gaming club.
Yes, it was store because you played in it.
Yeah, because I think
Yeah,
I want to say it was me and my guys from PA, like
it
also
was.
part of the Glen Burnie Club.
Yeah. So, just trying to get that, where we go out to the stores and see if they can get a foursome or, maybe even two. Maybe we'll just do two for them to come
You're
out
gonna
and,
have You'll have
was
strong
that?
representation from the southern PA, central Maryland areas.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it would be great. By that time, maybe Mythicos will have a bunch of people there,
Yeah.
But maybe start talking to some of these stores about sending folks out for a major con and seeing what happens. There's so many things I think we can do once we start growing this community. Speaking of growing the community, I think we run one of the biggest events there. In a way, that yeah, it's kind of cool. We beat some other games, but it's also kind of sad because there are some really great games that some of us used to play. And I'm not just talking about Flames of War Team Yankee. I'm talking about a bunch of games, and they just didn't have the presence there that I expected them to have coming out of COVID.
Well, I
When it,
mean, even the vendor hall was like half of what it normally is. There were a lot of groups or stores that I was hoping to see there that weren't there, and there was a little lost shopping opportunity that way. But yeah,
yeah,
I think we saw the same thing with the games.
yeah. I mean, we got to grow some excitement.
Yeah, we got to make it as welcoming as possible, as open as possible to bring in new people. So,
Right.
I want to grow it as a hobby. I want people to have fun.
Right.
That's the goal.
Well, somebody came up to me and they said, "Look, I can get 1 million people to play this game," and it was the Felton brothers. Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah, they said that they can get a lot of folks in, and I'm excited about it. So, that's it'll be a very long tournament, but kind of excited that
I'm down for it.
yeah. I mean, the more I see those guys, the more I really want to hang out. And it's too bad they left early. The game ended, but yeah. I Next time I think we should room with them, Tom.
Okay.
Just get huge with them. See what's going on. Maybe put on some fish costumes, Vaseline, and slap each other around.
Oh,
Not
by
too
the way,
crazy.
speaking
Yeah.
of costumes, my pants came 3 days ago
What
while I was
pants?
away. My pirate
Oh,
pants, and my shirt came in the mail today. I had to sign for it because it was from Northern Macedonia. Apparently, it was
What?
really it was wrapped in a really interesting way. Fits pretty good. I don't know what I
So
bought, Tyler.
wait. Talk to me about this. Talk, because there may be a problem here.
So
Describe the pants and the shirt.
it's kind of like the pants are Viking style pants that have the like cinched boot like calf things, and
The
then they
built-in
have
knee
like
gaiters.
exactly and they have a drawstring top. The shirt is a linen style shirt from like the 1500s that like a Spaniard would
It's
wear.
it's like a puffy shirt. So
It's a
you're
puffy
wearing
shirt.
you're wearing a puffy shirt and Spanx. Is that what you're telling me?
He was supposed to.
Essentially,
He was supposed to come to the convention dressed as a conquistador because he lost a
We
bet.
lost many bets.
the armor is still in transit, but it has shipped. And the armor that I bought so far, which I had to measure myself for, are shoulder pads and greaves that go across the top of my like upper arms, and then they're held together with leather straps, along with like a collar that goes across like my neck. So that's the top piece, and then I have to pay to get fitted for the main armor plate across the chest, which I will like. I'm gonna have a blacksmith do that for me too. I'm not messing around with this. Like I also like this is not Glenn's fault. Okay, like Glenn.
I fully
Yeah.
expected like a
Totally is.
like a sandwich board, cardboard thing, spray painted silver.
Well,
Yeah.
Glenn, like I don't have kids to send to college or anything like that. It's just me. So if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it all the way. So next con, I'm ready to go. I have the outfit, so I'm gonna be doing demos dressed like a Spanish conquistador. I'll
How's
even have my
Uh,
Morian helm.
can you change at the? I don't want to because we'll room together, and I'd rather not. I don't know.
You don't really have a choice. This is what it's gonna be.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have a lot of little good one-liners there, and I
I'm gonna just dress up, go to breakfast, and be like, "My God, this coffee, this is
yeah.
straight from Ethiopia." Just be a
Spanish
complete ass.
conquistador with an English accent.
It's the best I have. I can't roll my R's.
Just say, when I drink coffee, it's not always amazing. The most interesting blood and plunder player in the world. But yeah. It's, hey, you know what it is, brother? You do you, and I'm, I'm not going to dress up in costume, but I'll support your love of cosplay. How's that sound?
I
See,
appreciate it.
but you're
Appreciate it.
going
Yeah.
to Adepticon, right, Mitch? Like when
Yeah,
when we were gonna go for COVID, and Firelock kind of put out that they were looking for people to come and help out in exchange for like really kind of a free ride to Adepticon. Somebody made a joke. I promise it wasn't me about showing up in costume, and it came out that all of us like uber nerds who were willing to take a bunch of time to go to Adepticon and help out the pirate game all happened to have pirate costumes. So we were just gonna rock up at least for a day in like full kit. So you're the odd man out here.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
am. I
Yeah,
am.
you're the weird one, Mitch.
You're the weirdo.
Well,
You're
I'm
the
not
weirdo.
I'm not
Although I don't
castigating
know that
you
I
for
want to
this.
see any of Mitch's costumes.
Yeah,
I feel like they involve a lot of latex.
yeah, they do. I have a real sword.
Oh,
That's a
okay.
start.
I have a real sword. It's actually here by my fireplace. Has my name on it engraved. But yeah, I don't know what I don't think it would look good on me. I don't think it's a good look for me.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I can carry the torch. It's no problem.
yeah. I mean, it's hard to pull off me being me with this look, with the Kavorka just pulling them all in. I have mad sex appeal, and throw a pirate costume on me and forget about it. I'm gonna be king of the talesmen, if you know what I mean.
I do.
Yeah,
I do what you mean.
yeah. I hear you.
Well, I
But
will say this: you
yeah,
guys are so next time we would see each other would probably be at Adepticon in March, correct? Um,
yes.
okay, I can't take any more personal days. Mine are burned through. Um, I had 2 weddings for cousins, and I had this, and I have my anniversary, which is getting celebrated late because I did go to this
I
con
and I appreciate that.
on my anniversary. So
Yeah.
I won't be able to do Adepticon with you guys, but I will possibly be able to go to Cold Wars if it's a drive. Isn't Cold Wars in like
Ocean City,
Maryland.
Maryland.
Ocean
Yeah,
City, Maryland?
Is that where they're
yeah,
doing it? What month
yeah.
are they
Yeah.
doing that?
I
It's
think it's
like
the same month.
Probably cheap.
it's like 2 weeks after.
After Adepticon?
Yeah. So I know
It's like
people that
Oh.
that have houses there. I'm going to see if I can get one of the houses.
Yeah.
I can do
Right,
that,
so-
but I can only be there for like Friday, Saturday. I wouldn't be able to come out on Thursday.
well,
Um,
I mean, for Cold Wars, they generally run it like Thursday night. They don't do the Wednesday start. It's not the extra day of
Yeah.
Historicon.
Yeah.
oh, okay, all right.
So it'll be like Thursday night, all day Friday, all day Saturday, wrap up
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah, it's a lot shorter.
But
We'll make it work for you, man.
Ocean
Yeah,
City should have plenty of like Airbnb type houses.
Yeah. Yeah, it's we should
Yeah,
have a
that's
good
what we
time.
roomed in for Historicon. It was weird.
Oh, you guys?
Yeah, and the Firelock guys were in the same building, but it was like an apartment complex. I don't know if they furnished it once they realized that they weren't going to be able to lease them out, or if it was like one of those business apartments where, like,
Oh.
if you work in the city. Yeah, it was like an Airbnb setup. We had to pick up a key fob and all that. It was a really nice
Wow.
place, but we thought we reserved a room with 2 beds, and we had 1 bed and a pull-out couch and 3 guys. So
Who are the 3 guys?
it was myself, Josh Lavallee, and we had Miguel Viga with the Ottoman cavalry.
Yeah, I like that guy. Never met him before. So one of the things he pointed out that was really kind of funny is the article that ran on Monday. I said most people were wearing masks. I didn't see any egregious violations. And there's a picture of Miguel without a mask, and they go, "Is this supposed to be some kind of joke?" And then I said, "Dude, I'll take it down." He goes, "No, it's as funny as fuck." And I like that guy, man. He's all right. I want to game with him more. It was just so funny. Like I didn't realize because I took so many pictures.
He had all of like all of Dexter Hyde's like super converted canoas with
Yeah.
him, all the stuff
Oh,
that
yeah.
Rufus painted for him. Those ships are crazy. Like
Oh, wow.
the native stuff. Yeah, he had it all back in the room, and I'm like, why did you pack all this down here and you're not going to take it to the con?
Yeah, I didn't get to
Miguel?
see any of it.
People want to see.
Yeah, no,
that.
it's some of the most beautiful stuff I've ever seen.
He had like all the
it's
crescent
really
root
amazing.
terrain with him. I'm like, what are you doing?
Oh yeah, he's got the whole village.
Yeah.
He must have dropped $600-700 on it easy. He brought it with me for the demos. Like he lives close to me, which is cool because he's fun to play. He's a nice guy, and yeah, he's like my partner for demos. Anytime I can get him on the same schedule, because he's a police officer, he keeps weird hours compared to me. So I always have to try to put my bid in early. But yeah, he's great, and the stuff is really great that he carries around.
Yeah, I know. Well, I know you know him well, at least from being up there. But he's a member of the online community, and it's nice to have met a couple of the guys from the online community at the convention for the first time, and finally put faces to names.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I got to see Adam again. That was cool. There's a bunch of people that you know too that I never get to see, but they always come on paint nights and stuff like that, so we see them then.
Yeah.
Like
Weston
like
was
that one
there
guy.
for a hot minute, and then he was gone.
I wasn't gonna say his name.
Oh, we were trying to. Yeah. Well, it's not a
Trying to
Tales of
avoid it.
Sales official episode.
That's fair.
Yeah. We don't need to say it.
It's not an official talesman thing, but yeah, I mean, it was really good to meet. Like, I met folks that I've been chatting with really online, just like you guys, for the last year and a half, and it was really kind of good to see them and know that they're real people. I wasn't being catfished, um, which is always nice. But yeah, it was a great crowd. I had a great time. What's so funny?
I was just laughing. I was thinking that you lucked out that none of them turned out to be officers.
What do you mean? Like police officers?
Yes.
Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm not the one.
Jesus, Mitch.
I'm not the one that brought a 7-year-old kid to. Damn it! I wasn't even going to mention that. I was like, "What's up with Glenn?"
He signed up to your email list. That's all
I
I'm
know
saying.
I know he did. You were waiting for him. No, he actually played okay. I mean, I wish that they gave some of those kids a little bit more Ritalin, but we can only raise one kid at a time. But one thing I do want to say, because it's getting close to an hour, and this is where people tune out, that I think it was successful because of the hard work you three guys put in, and just watching your interaction. And Glenn, he was like the old British Sergeant Major, walking the yard, helping people out, and with the demos, and then just jumping in. It was by far the smoothest tournament or series of tournaments I've ever been a part of, and that's even back in the WWPD days. So I'm gonna put my big thanks to you guys. I think made it really successful. I just answered the emails and made the pairings, but I think you guys made it really successful. And looking at how well Firelock did, I think all that stuff they sold, we got to get those people to come back and play, and expand that email list that we have to get these people back. I think the big success was because the hard work you guys put in, and I know Mike was very appreciative of that, and to me that's awesome.
Well, I appreciate all the work you did, Mitch, because you
I
helped
didn't do
to
very
run the
much.
stuff. Everything started on time, didn't it?
Yeah,
It
because
started on time.
Because I got OCD when it comes to Look, I used to work with nukes, baby, and there's no second place. Bombs got to be on target by the split second. What they say, to forgive is to err is human, to forgive is not second.
Wow.
So, yeah. But yeah, it was just great working with you guys. I just be honest, man. I can't wait to do it again. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah. Well, you guys want to sign it out? We'll send it back to Shawnee Boy. And, I want you to know I was going to learn how to auto-tune for most of this. Didn't do it. And it's very easy to do, is to do the auto-tune, Yeah. So.
Well, until we meet again, we appreciate all the people listening. We hope we see you at the next con. And yeah, we'll keep you posted on all the hobby stuff we're working on between now and then. Thanks for listening.
Thanks so much for joining the show tonight. Remember to follow us on Twitter at No Dice, No Glory, and keep the conversation going on NoDiceNoGlory.com, now featuring our own message boards. Have a great night, everybody.